in Islamic law, we have two types of sadaqah. We have the mandatory charity, and we have the mustahab recommended charity. The mandatory charity is like the zakat. If you own farmlands, crops, you pay zakat. So those who own sheep, for example, whenever you have 40 sheep, you have to give one as charity. If you have 80, you give two. Crops, let's say you have a farmland that produces fruits, that produces wheat. When it reaches a certain amount, you pay charity. That's wajib sadaqah. It's called sadaqah, but it's a wajib sadaqah. Zakat al-Fitra that we will all pay on the day of Eid, before Salat al-Eid, that is also wajib sadaqah. Khums, for instance, that's wajib sadaqah. When it comes to the wajib sadaqah, you have to be sure that the person whom you're giving is deserving of it, qualifies, has to be poor. You need to be confident. There must be clear signs that this person is poor. And remember, when we say poor, I think a lot of us don't really understand what poor means in Islamic law. Poor doesn't mean the person's starving. Some people think the person has to starve. They're on the ground shivering from starvation. Yalla, now give him sadaqah. No, that's not the meaning of poverty. Poverty in Islamic law means you don't have enough income for your basic necessities, the basic needs that we have. Food, shelter, clothing, the basic needs. You don't have enough income. That makes you poor according to Islamic law. Now, in order for you to give the wajib sadaqah to the person, you have to be confident the person is actually poor. They are really struggling with their income. Their income is not enough for them to live a proper life. Then we have the mustahab sadaqah, which is the sadaqah you pay every morning in the box. You know, the sadaqah box that we have in our homes. You pay every day $1 before you go. Or whenever you want Allah to protect you from danger, you pay sadaqah. Donations, just donations on sadaqah. That is the mustahab sadaqah. The recommended mustahab sadaqah you can give to people like that. They don't necessarily have to be poor. Even if the person is not poor or you don't know, you can still give it to them. Because in Islam, giving, the act of giving, even to the one who's not poor, is mustahab. For example, offering a meal to people. If there's a rich person, the person's rich, and he can afford all the meals in the world. If you go and give that rich person a meal and tell him, here, this is sadaqah from me. Don't say the word sadaqah, he probably won't take it. But if you just say this is sadaqah, an act of charity, here's a gift from me. Mustahab, Allah will reward you for that. It'am al-ta'am, feeding people, whether they're poor or not, has a great status in the religion of Islam. So if you're giving him mustahab sadaqah, that's fine. Give it to them, Allah will reward you even if they're not in need. You still did a good thing. Allah wants to teach us in society, always give. Whoever asks you, give. 2 points here, however. If you know or you're confident that this person will use the money to buy drugs or alcohol with it, then don't give them money, give them a meal. Give them a gift card from a store that sells food, for example, a restaurant. If you suspect they're going to drink or buy cigarettes with it, give them the meal itself. I know you will have to go out of your way and go with them and stand in line and buy them food, but do it. Allah will reward you for that. So if you suspect that, give them something that you know for sure they can't buy alcohol with it. That's very important. Because there are some people, you know, some homeless people out there who will use that money to buy drugs or alcohol with it. So you buy the food for them. Tell him, are you hungry? Come, I'll take you. If he says, no, I just want clothes, tell him, come, I'll take you, let's buy clothes. Or give him a gift card. Here, this gift card, go from so-and-so clothing store and buy clothes for yourself. When you do things like that, you reduce the chances. He could still sell the gift card somewhere and get money for it, I know. But still, that reduces the chances of him using that money for a wrong cause. That's one point. The second point, there are some crooks in society who work with other gangs, they act as if they're poor and disabled, and they are actually making millions out of this. It's a business for many of them. What do we say about that? First of all, I think this is not such a widespread phenomenon. I know sometimes in your WhatsApp messages, on YouTube, you do see people like that being exposed. And I think sometimes people, after seeing these videos or clips, they stop giving charity altogether to the poor. Because now you suspect every poor person is, a cheater like that. That's not the case. A lot of people who are actually begging outside, they really need that money. Those people who are working with gangs, they're the minority. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that completely discourage you and say, khalas, I'm not giving anyone anything. That's wrong. But number two, if you really suspect there are signs, there are visible signs that this person is a crook, then don't give them, if you're sure. Because you don't want to encourage them. But if you have a doubt, even if it's a 10%, 20% doubt, give. Because the hadith states if the person was really in need and you did not give them, you denied them, Allah's anger will be coming down on you. Don't put yourself in that situation. Give them. Even if it's $1 and you're not sure, just give them. Don't turn them away without giving them anything, unless you're sure. You're confident that the person is a crook. In that case, then yes.